welcome everyone to Nerd TV for another RSR Next Generation Cup Series race. This time coming at you live from the simulated Darlington Raceway, where these RSR boys are going to take 145 laps around this place. And we're going to be setting this off in the sunset and finishing this race in the night. 82 degrees on the track right now, 77 in the skies. A nice cooler evening here in Darlington. It's 57% humidity, partly cloudy, and virtually no wind, so not a problem here tonight. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka Jay Swifty, and to my right, Jason Rockefeller. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. Obviously, we saw such a great race here in yesterday's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series race. It was chaotic. We were just talking about it over during the pre-roll section of our broadcast about, our producer Justin said that turn 2 looks like it's going to be really hectic tonight. I believe you made a comment about it as well. This track is going to be treacherous. Yeah, coffin corner, as he said. You could just see, look at the amount of cars that just went off the track right there. Off turn number 2. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. We had a great race last night. A lot of good battling. No real dominant car. And I expect the same thing probably here tonight.
Man, turn 2 is a graveyard for so many guys every single time we come here. It never fails. It takes at least 2 guys out of the field every single night. So I expect nothing here different tonight. The real life guys, they had a very calm first half of the race on Sunday. We head over to Monday for our virtual FTSR race. Same thing. First half of the race, pretty calm. They had 9 cautions, came out of nowhere. And, tonight, not expecting anything different. So we do have, I think, 3 races left before we get to the playoffs here for the RSR boys. Want to just quickly fact check myself. Yeah, we have tonight, Kansas and Bristol. And then they have a little bit shorter of a postseason. They only have 2 races for the round of 16, 2 for the round of 12, 2 for the round of 8. Races left, so we need 3 different winners here potentially.
It's interesting to see, obviously, with just 3 races remaining. Right before the playoffs, compared to most leagues and even in the top 3 divisions of NASCAR, when you after Pocono weeks ago, I was there. Later drivers in here tonight that are coming in, looking to have a solid run, looking to have, some type of good night. This track will absolutely ruin you mentally and physically inside those virtual.
Yeah, it really will. This is going to be the toughest one. It is qualifying time. We're going to see how fast he's. Off your guys' screen, and we're going to try to focus in on the winner of practice, back and forth all season long so far. But Ryan Bean is fast in practice, and I do believe it is Kevin Zabladil's birthday based off the chat here in Discord. So if that is true, give a quick shout out to Kevin saying happy birthday to him. But here we go. Ryan Bean going through turns 3 and 4 to get his green flag lap underway.
Ryan Bean, obviously fast in practice, probably more than likely going to be the fastest here tonight, no doubt about it. Scored 4 wins so far here in 2023, part 2. So this is going to be interesting to see if he can continue that dominance. Obviously, we've been talking about Stealth Motorsports a lot here over these past few weeks. And, when you look at it last week at Daytona, they were pretty lined up all together, Jeremy, late in the going. Unfortunately, just really didn't come to fruition there at the end of Daytona. Kevin Ruff was able to end that one. And Ryan Bean finished in 10th, which would, if you really think about it, probably like his worst finish in gosh knows how long. So he's looking to continue that strength that he's carried all season long with him here tonight in that Mobil 1 Toyota.
Yeah, first time on the board there, 2/10 slower from his practice time, 29.2, which I noticed a lot of guys yesterday. Lap number 2 was their fastest time, as these tire temps have to build up a little bit, get the pressures up. Here comes Ryan Bean to check a flag here for his qualifying session. He's going to jump 1/10. So it's going to be 29.150. Currently P1 over the 26 of Blake Howell.
Yeah, great run for Ryan Bean, and most guys too just can't really compete. Noticing, put it this way, past Blake Howell in that 26 machine, nobody has cracked the point ones yet besides those two drivers. Most of these times are in the point twos, point threes, all the way back to point nines, even an entire second back. If you're Anthony Yuns there in the 54, who's ran a 30.474, more than likely had some issue on his qualifying lap. Nate Campbell, he's going to surrender his end to his qualifying run as well. Currently up on the board right now. I don't see him as far as I'm concerned. Not too sure where he's at. But here's Matt Upbrook. He's looking to try to have a good night as well in that number 16 machine.
Yeah, I feel like some of this, or tonight's race is going to be one of those things where we're going to see maybe a breakout driver, but for the most part, just like yesterday, you're probably guaranteed to see most of the top 10 in the points running up in the front here. This is a track that's just really tough, and even if you suck at it, you find those guys typically up in the front still, just because for the guys who aren't as talented or don't have a great setup, it's really hard to get the car really hooked up. You see Andrew Little going to give up this lap here. He does touch the outside wall. Even if you get a 0x, iRacing says your lap is disqualified, so I don't believe he will be scored anything on this one, but let's see what he's got for lap number 2.
Yeah, coming off the wall, you want to try to arc it when you come down to the start-finish line, or ride that wall. It doesn't really matter here this time. Oh, he actually scuffs the wall a little bit, so that's going to invalidate that lap time more than likely. Yes, Andrew Little, no qualifying time posted. We're going to have to see here if on the second lap he can get it. Comes down, diamonds the corner, kind of a little bit higher exit than I think he wanted to be. Got loose off turn number 2. You'll head to the back straightaway into 3. Dive it down in there. Don't get below the apron, but he gets really loose there on entry. Probably just carried a little too much speed. This is definitely not going to be the best lap for the 68 machine right here as he heads to the line.
No, it didn't look too good. And yeah, across the line, 29.585. Currently 15th on the boards here. We have 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. 23 guys have taken time so far, and the final 6 on the in the pit road are electing not to take time here. So 23 guys, and right now Brian Bean holds the fastest time still at a 29.150 to the 26 Blake Howell, which Sheila Geary there on the chats on YouTube saying let's go 26 Blake Howell. So we already got our cheerleaders out here. Appreciate the support, and I appreciate you Ms. Sheila for catching our audio hiccup there at the very beginning of the broadcast. So it looks like it's all taken care of, and had a little slight Discord issue there. And yes, I will definitely get you updated on the points as soon as we go over tonight's starting order here, as these guys are about to take the gridding for tonight's race for the Whitewater Express 200 at the virtual Darlington Raceway. And Ryan Bean, you see him right there on your screen, going to be starting P1 on the inside lane here. Second place car is going to be the 26 of Blake Howell. Third place in the number 2 is going to be Zach Strenthal. To his outside, and fourth will be the 82 of Stan Carnathan. Kevin Zabladil in the 17 will be starting P5. Brian Fine will be starting in 6th. Michael Sheffield in 7th. Matt Hayden in 8th. Bob Fitzpatrick in 9th. And tonight's 10th place starting car, the number 38, James Catrone.
Top 10 complete, top 20, here we go. Nolan Potter in the 34, he'll start 11th, next to Harold Watkins in the 23, starting 12th. 13th goes to Matt Upbrook in that 16 machine. 14th, another Potter, that being Brock in that number 4, he'll start 14th. 15th, Andrew Little. 16th goes to Richard Gonzalez. 17th, Anthony Ludi. 18th, Rusty Modesty after a great Daytona run just last week. Justin Henry, he'll start the 85 machine in the 19th spot. And last week's runner-up, Alexander Hodge, trying to get something done here tonight in the 20th spot.
21st, last week's winner, Kevin Ruff. 22nd, Harold Rothery. 23rd, Jerry Culver. 24th, Anthony Eunice. 25th, Nathan Campbell. 26th, Adam Boughton. 27th, James Fitzmaurice. 28th, Michael Carter. 29th, Robert Fitzpatrick. And 30th place car in the field, the 92 of Clint Moda. And that one name I just recognized there. And 25th did not qualify. It was the second fastest guy in practice, that being Stealth Motorsports driver Nathan Campbell, which, by the way, Sheila was asking about the point situation there. So right now, Ryan Bean with 4 wins, going to be P1 right now in the points. Got a decent sized lead over a lot of these guys. 75 points. You're going to find second place Nathan Campbell, Blake Howell in third, Harold Watkins in fourth, Brian Fine in fifth, Nolan Potter sixth, James Catrone seventh, Rusty Modesty eighth, Kevin Ruff ninth, and 10th place in the points Matt Hayden. And we only have 5 winners so far in this 2023 C or B season, with Ryan Bean at 4, Nathan at 1, Blake at 1, Brian Fine at 1, and Kevin Ruff at 1. So hopefully that gets you up to date there. And we got 3 more chances for 3 different winners to see if you can lock yourself into the round of 16, which will be 4 weeks from tonight. And Jason, we're about to get ready for a really good race here at Darlington. Expect a lot of clean racing in the beginning. And just like the past 2 nights we saw here, once from the FTSR boys virtually, then once from the real life, the last half of the race will get crazy, no doubt about it. Green flag is out, and the Whitewater Express 200 is underway.
Ryan Bean, great start down into turn 1 against Blake Howell. They're going to be neck and neck here into turn 1. Slide up the banking, past the Cookout, Xfinity, Goodyear signs. Off turn number 2, Ryan Bean holds the lead.
Oh, no.
17 hard into the wall. The birthday boy of Kevin Zabladil hard into the inside retaining wall. Cold tires, old track, loose grip there for the 17 machine. His night looks to be over with not even 2 corners complete.
And no caution was out for that one. So that is going to end the night on lap number 1 as we go to the Nerd TV replay. He actually had to check up there for Stan Carnathan coming off turn number 2. And when you have to lift on that part of the track, it really just weight shifts your car. And then, yeah, like you said, with no heat in the tires, no pressure buildup to its optimal pressures, it kicks it sideways. And you see Wilmer look at it here directly to the inside retaining wall, right at the edge of the wall almost, and just completely, you see the fenders just like to explode off these next-gen cars.
Yeah. And also note, too, Stan Carnathan way back in the pack now. He's actually all on pit road currently. So I don't know if maybe something happened to him as well. He looks like he has some sort of damage, possibly from my camera angle here on the left side, possibly. Not too sure. Going to have to see if we can get a replay of that. But those 2 guys coming off turn number 2, one falls 1 lap. This next one, Stan Carnathan is into his pit box this time.
Yeah, he going through 1 and 2. You're going to catch it here on the Nerd TV replay. Same. Oh, we actually got another car. That's the 3rd one with heavy damage right now. But Stan Carnathan just door paneled the inside wall, the same exact spot that Kevin Zabladil did there a lap prior. But now you're going to see the 3rd car to hit the wall. This is the 92. They're off of turn 4 this time. And once again, the front bumper clip and the hood just kind of explode right there. So 3 cars. That was Clint Moda, by the way. So 3 cars in 3 laps. Heavy damage to start this race off.
It's unfortunate, man. This is a long race for some of these drivers. This track's only 1.3 miles long. But I tell you what, just because of all 4 ends, or not 4 ends, but both ends of this racetrack, all 4 turns feel very different here. You're going to have to pace yourself both mentally and physically. You take a look at the replay for Stan Carnathan, just loose off turn number 2. Almost an exact carbon copy of what happened to the birthday boy of Kevin Zabladil just a couple laps prior to that incident. So it looks like he's going to probably be able to repair it, I think. But if I were Stan Carnathan, it's looking like it's going to be definitely a race-ending kind of night. We'll have to see how that virtual pit crew repairs the damage here, as we're only 6 laps in to the Whitewater Express 200.
To kind of showcase the point system with that there, Stan Carnathan came in tonight 15th in points, and he was 7 points away from being outside of the top 16. So with no wins and him being on the edge and having damage early on, this is going to probably put him below the cut line with 2 weeks left to go. So that's kind of huge implications there for the 82 car there, as we're seeing some action with 11 of Alexander Hodge getting around Tony Ludi there in the 8 as they go through turns 1 or 3 and 4 here, come to the start finish line, still side by side. These guys are still pretty racy overall through this racetrack.
Yeah, and down the front straightaway right now, you're looking at Rusty Modesty trying to close in on Gonzalez and Ludi up the bank, and they go. That number 9 Raptor machine just could not hold the bottom. Oh no, Rusty Modesty just barely scrapes the wall off turn number 2. He's able to save it though in that number 6 machine. The 9 of Richard Gonzalez loses not 1 but 3 spots, and that's the thing, Jeremy. You're going to have to be careful going side by side through turns 1 and 2 tonight, because if you just so happen to be up on the outside heading into turn number 2, it's looking like it's not going to be a very good deal for you on the end of that one off turn number 2. Saw a lot of guys in yesterday's Mach 1 Performance Cup Series races, along with the Cup race on Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series. First race of the playoffs for them. Saw a lot of guys getting loose. Once you got into those marbles off turn number 2, you just hit the wall. And unfortunately, that's what happens here. Happened in the spring, happened just a couple days ago, happened last night. Probably going to happen a lot more here tonight as well.
Yeah, you have to kind of diamond that corner. You have to be off the wall turn 2 exit, or you're going to have to check up a lot of speed here. I want to jump to the just outside the top 10 here. 45 Nathan Campbell started 25th, did not qualify. He's going to be right now in 12th, so he's already up a decent amount of positions, 13, and now he's got a lot of traffic in front of him. This is the most raciest part of the racetrack at the moment here. Just a train of cars really neck and neck, and they're doing it cleanly. They're not racing each other too hard, but the patience game, you have to wait. I think the stage break is at lap 45, so we're just shy of 30 laps away from that moment. But for someone like the 45 who has a ton of speed, it is kind of hard to hold yourself back here at times.
Definitely, absolutely. I mean, when you're looking at Nathan Campbell already up 13 spots from where he started, the fact that he was not able to post a qualifying time, that was huge. We're so used to Campbell running up at the front, really being Ryan Bean's main competitor besides Brian Fine, Blake Howell, and sometimes Zach Schrenthal. Very interesting to see him not be able to take a qualifying lap time, and he's going to have to be patient. You talked about it, Jeremy. He's going to have that lap 45 cushion with that first and only stage break. So if you're Nathan Campbell, the best thing you can do is just learn how your car drives in traffic, because you don't know what it's going to do once you get through all this traffic, but you have to be patient, man. They call it the Lady in Black for a reason, and if you just dance with her a little too much, she's going to take a snap at you, and sure enough, hasn't happened to that 45 just yet.
It's already claimed several cars right now, the 92, the 17, and the 82. So, but after that, it's been a pretty tame race other than this battle for inside the top 10 and outside the top 10. Still just the raciest part of the track here. We saw a lap ago, the 45 Nathan Campbell advanced one more spot in front of Brock Potter in the 4. That's going to put him P11, up 14 spots. Your fastest mover in the race so far. Everybody else has kind of stayed stationary. Alexander Hodge is up 7. So he's doing pretty all right there. But yeah, this is going to be probably the most low point of the race, is you guys are just going to wind down the stage, get to stage end, and that's where the chaos seems to ensue, is on stage 2 here at Darlington. And really good stuff through 3 and 4 right now. We got one car pretty loose there, heads to the bottom. That was Matt Hayden in the 5. Comes back up, does not get the spot there. James Catrona in the 38. Oh, he gets squeezed up at the wall, almost makes contact, but does not have any good news there. And they go back to single file for turn 2.
Tell you what, I thought for a moment there that Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. was going to try to go to the outside off turn number 2. And in my head, I was going to say, what is he doing? Sure enough, pulled a smart card out of his back pocket and decided to use it right there. He's a little loose off turn number 4, but like we talked about earlier, do not try to go side by side or be up on that outside exiting turn number 2. It is possible. You can make it work. It's not impossible, but your chance, and here we go, right here off the corner. That's right. There you go. They proved me wrong. Matt Hayden and Brock Potter were able to make it work. It is a very rare occurrence, though, that move does, in fact, work off that corner.
Yeah, it takes a lot of commitment from the bottom guy to give the room at the top, or else that top guy is just going to smash the outside wall. It almost happens every single time, and so kind of have to work together to get to that corner cleanly here. They do so. It's a little easier through turns 3 and 4. You get an excellent run off 3 and 4 if you can hug the very top end of the track, but 1 and 2 cannot. There's just too much speed. The corner diamond's off a little too strong. And so you see a lot of guys move to the top of the track or the center. That's very common through 1 and 2. Then you want to go back down to the bottom half of the track on exit to really straighten up that corner. But really, this race still inside the top 10 is the preferred way. The leaders have a breakaway. The top three are within a half a second of each other, right? And then sixth place on back is 7 seconds and plus. So the top five, for the most part, just kind of really separate themselves from the rest of the field so far early on. As we bring in that that nice camera that we saw on Sunday, the only difference is we had to look through the spoiler, but we're not doing it here tonight. We're giving you more of the up-close wall shot here and see how close these guys get to the outside wall.
Yeah, we talked about it in last night's broadcast, Jeremy. Absolutely love the camera angle that NBC was able to bring to the drivers and to the fans, and obviously everybody who was on that broadcast, a part of it, given a perspective from what it's like to be that right rear quarter panel. I know this is a simulation, but it gives a great representation of what it is like to be on that right rear quarter panel, or at least on the deck lid on the right side here at Darlington. You can see all that extra rubber up at the top of the racetrack kind of starting to be spread out there. As you see the 28 of Ryan Bean, he'll go to lead. They're going to be side by side this time into 3 and 4. But you'll see this time, look at all that rubber up at the top of the racetrack, all those speckles. You can really see it through 1 and 2. You can see it. There you go. Dustin knows what I want. You can see all those little speckles. They look like little pieces of what I call mulch. In yesterday's broadcast, odd, interpretation, but that's basically what it looks like. It's the best way to put it. It's all chunks of rubber. Jeremy, that outside groove in 1 and 2 is going to be filled with all those old rubber chunks here later on in this race by the end of it.
I'm gonna actually defend your analogy there. They sell mulch that's made out of old tire chunks and rubber. Like, I have a friend who has it right now in his front yard. They use rubber, and they use it for playgrounds too, for softness. So it's not an uncommon thing. So you can absolutely call it mulch all day. And that mulch will bid up. It's not as bad as some other tracks. See, James Catrone wall right in there through the center of 1 and 2 comes down and almost hits the 45 of Nathan Campbell there. They remain side by side. Big check up by a car. Will they split 3 wide? They do not. The 45 of Campbell has to back up there. I think that's the number 34 right in front, Nolan Potter. So here we go back to single file here. One car really less than 13 of Jerry Culver. He's going to give up all of those positions right there. So he goes a lap down.
And that was very interesting, obviously. But hey, you learn something new every day. I did not know that they use chunks of rubber for playgrounds. And now that I think about it, I guess you do learn something new every day.
Yeah, 100%. Jump into the chats here. I forgot to mention earlier, but Michelle Rittenberry, who asked Kevin to get a top 5 for her last week for the birthday and got the win. She's back. Yeah, you got the dub. So yeah, she's back in saying, let's go Kevin Lee Ruff once more. You just have to put the pressure on him there, Michelle, if you want him to, be in the top 5, because right now, sitting in 14th, he doesn't need to win this time because he's locked into the playoffs. But if you want to give another shout out to him to make sure he finishes better, get yourself on the chat. Here's Jerry Culver once more, letting some cars by. Then Matt Keach, our favorite, that comes in and says one thing usually. Says A, which is back to the original comment he likes to say. So welcome to the broadcast once more, Mr. Matt. And it's a 48, really slow off turn number 2 here as well. It's another car. Robert Fitzpatrick goes lap down now for the first time. So this track is already starting to claim a lot of tire wear situations, and several cars lap down only 25 laps into this race.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. And hey, back to Michelle Rittenberry, I believe that was her last name, her comment. You talked about that top 5 for Kevin Ruff last week that she mentioned, and then next thing you know, he went out and got the W, and just because it was her birthday. Well, my birthday is next Tuesday, so I'm going to ask Kevin Ruff to get a top 5, and then somehow, some way, maybe he's going to be able to pull this off. But all jokes aside, I mean, yeah, this track already, we're just 26 laps in, and we're already seeing a lot of cars with damage, a lot of cars out of this race. We've already seen Jerry Culver, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, all 1 lap down. Then you go back to Stan Carthen, Clint Moda, Kevin Zabaldale, the birthday boy, unfortunately. Those guys already out of this race pretty much, multiple laps down in a sense. And I expect there to be more carnage, more damage towards the end of this race. And I think once this first and only stage gets over with and these guys kind of feel how the tires wear out, it's going to be interesting to see. Matt Hayden was in our chats last night saying he was using last night's broadcast as homework. And so far, is kind of paying off, I guess you could say. Currently sitting 13th. These guys, every single lap, it's a learning curve here at Darlington. It's a track where you have to adapt to how the track conditions are. Not how your car drives, but how the track conditions change.
Yeah, it's completely different to watch footage as homework for a race car driver, right? You can watch football plays all day and see exactly how lines shift, and that stays pretty consistent, right? But when you're in a race car, you don't know, or if you're watching the race rather, you don't know how the throttle and brakes are being pressed. You don't know how much wheel input. You don't know what the car feels like. So watching the racing lines, that'll help, and you can kind of see how draft works and how people utilize corner exit. But if you're not getting the brake and throttle combination with the steering down correctly, it's all for nothing, right? So Matt Hayden's actually down 5 spots, started 8th, going to be right now in 13th, as you just mentioned a lap or so ago. And he's now about to fall to the clutches of the 99 Kevin Ruff. As see Matt Hayden actually almost hit the wall there, at least I did anyways. So just to, yeah, you go to your point, Darlington's a tough track to watch from footage. Like, you know the line, but to actually execute here, that's a really tough task there. And if we could jump in the chats, Mitchell Owens saying, let's go. Hodge, that's the number 11 of Alexander Hodge, currently running 12th. He's up 8 positions so far in this race.
Make that 9 now. He moves up into the 11th spot, trying to go after now, which would be Fitzpatrick Jr. in that number 3 machine, just inside the top 10, only up in front of him by about 9/10 of a second. So it's not impossible. But Alexander Hodge looking to try to get some sort of stage point here towards the end of this. We got 15 laps to go before the end of this one. And Alex is coming off of a runner-up finish from his teammate of Kevin Ruff just a week ago. So both those drivers continuously trying to make, oh my goodness, so many guys getting loose there down the back straightaway. And Nolan Potter gets out of the way in a sense. That car was way low exiting the back straightaway. But for those guys, like Kevin Ruff and also, Alexander Hodge, those guys are doing very, very good. And here comes Nolan Potter into the pits. He's got some damage on that right side.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple laps ago, we saw Alexander Hodge go way low on the 34 there to pass him, and that's because off of turn 2,
Oh, that thing's bent.
Coffin corner, yeah, he got wicked loose and slammed the outside retaining wall. So that's going to be an 8-minute required there as he comes down pit road to get to the surface of his crew. I don't know if we have that for replay, but that was a heavy impact there for the 34. That's the 3rd car under 30 laps to be claimed.
Yeah, that was unfortunate right there. So lap 30, I believe, was that did happen. So, I mean, if you're Nolan Potter, best you could do is just sit there, get all the damage fixed. Here it is right here off the corner. Oh, my goodness. What a hit. What an overcorrection into the outside wall there off turn number 2. So that's why he was so slow for a couple laps. Now we found out. But that right front towing right there on the front of that car was absolutely destroyed. And you could just see him how much he was struggling there, even off turn number 4.
Yeah, see one more look at it and just, yeah, turning right. So the front of the wheel is exposed to the wall. And then when he hits the wall, it just really shoves the tire deep into that canal there, into the door panel. So that car is all but toast. Once he gets repaired, I don't know if it's going to be up to speed. So, he's, as you see Stan Carter, think he comes back onto the track here, at least on my camera angle, as we're looking at the number 11 Alexander Hodge, shifting over to your race leader, the 28 Ryan Bean, passing more cars, putting a more lap down. That right there was the 54 of Anthony Younes. That's 22nd place, so 8 cars now are going to be a lap down or more.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see here as more and more cars continue to go 1 lap down and whatnot. Here's the track map presented by iRacing iFlag. You could just see, Jeremy, within 36 laps, how spread out this race gets, just because guys are cooking those tires to the core and having practically no tread left on them. Here you could see your leader, Ryan Bean. He's hitting the start-finish line now, got some more lap traffic ahead of him, which is another Darlington characteristic. It is very, very hard to pass here, especially if you're a guy on way fresher tires, comparing yourself to a guy and competing with a guy who's on older tires. But these guys are just all over the place here. Don't be surprised if Ryan Bean somehow loses this race, because, or not race, but this stage win, because Blake Howell's right there in case Ryan Bean runs into any trouble.
Well, 3 wide, they're right behind the race leader. They go back to 2 now, single file. Last lap, the 28 Ryan Bean did actually hit the wall a little bit off turn 2 exit. And then you saw this last time through turn 2 on the camera angle, the 54 Anthony Eunice, who just went a lap down, hit the wall a little bit harder on corner exit 2. So at least on, ooh, heavy impact there. I think that was Blake Howell in the 26th, your second place car. Absolutely destroys the right side of that car, getting loose through turn 2 exit. And that's not looking good for the second place car.
And we're going to have to see if there's any sort of damage on that right front, because right now he's running okay. Didn't really see any hiccups going through turns 3 and 4. From the angle, it looks like that car might have a little bit of handling issue. He looks to be running fine though, Jeremy. I'm not sure if there's any damage on his car compared to what Nolan Potter's was just a handful of laps ago. That 26 machine took a hard lick to that outside wall.
Man, I thought that car for sure would need some repairs, but yeah, he's looking pretty all right here. I want to do a quick shout out to our series sponsor, Best One in Tire. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop for anything tire related, any repair or just service in general, head over to bestonetire.com and see where their nearest location is to you. And if they're in your area, head over there and give them a check out there. They got some of the best guys in the business in their areas. So once again, that's bestonetire.com, your series sponsor for the Tuesday Night RSR Next Generation Cup Series.
Tell you what, we're going to have to keep an eye on is Nathan Campbell. I think if he gets to Ryan Bean here, possibly he's not going to get there. 5 laps to go in the stage, but he's only back by 7 seconds and 5/10. So, man, Nathan Campbell, I think he could pose a huge threat to his teammate here tonight. We've seen these guys battle throughout multiple races here. Definitely has the fastest car right now, to say the least. Last time around, these guys are starting to creep into the 31s. That time around, Nathan Campbell, man, forget it, 30.4. That's almost an entire second faster than the 2 leaders out front. I think he could probably get to Blake Howell here in just a couple laps if presented that opportunity. This 45, though, is going to be a threat here in the second half of the race.
How is my question? This guy started 25th at a track where tire wear is more on the high end out of any other track. So how are you going to come from 25th to 3rd and still run that much faster than leaders? I have no idea. So when we get to stage break, everyone gets, back to equal on 4 fresh set of Goodyear tires. This 45 car is going to be the dangerous one to look after. He's going to be the one to spoil Ryan Bean's night here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's a possibility too, as you see one car right up into the wall in front of Nathan Campbell. That was Andrew Little. He is not having a night that he wants to remember for sure. And he goes 1 lap down just a handful of seconds ago practically. Lots of guys, though, going 1 lap down so far. Only 22 cars on the lead lap, I believe, if my calculations are correct. But there is so much racing going all over this. And honestly, Jeremy, as we're approaching the 1 lap to go signal for this stage, you think about it too, these drivers not only are racing the tracks, they're racing to how it adapts, but they're also racing themselves too. They have to get into a rhythm. This is a huge rhythm-based track. If you don't get into that kind of rhythm where you feel most comfortable, you're going to be struggling off every corner because you don't know how that car is going to step out. You don't know where you're going to get tight, where you're going to get loose, how close am I to the wall. Can I drive this thing a little bit further? We'll have to see here as this race progresses on throughout the night.
Yep, and coming to the line here, Ryan Bean will win another stage here as he crosses the line first. They're going to wait for 10th place or so to cross the line, and then you will see the caution flag fly for the first time this evening, which, of course, is presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee for all of our Nerd TV broadcast out here. And you can see we're still not throwing the caution, and it's over a half a lap here, going through turns 3 and 4. Still waiting for the yellow, and they're actually race control's having a little bit of a problem trying to throw yellow. The command's not working here, so there it finally goes as we get to the lap 46, and then we're going to extend this thing by 1 lap anyways. And now it's official. Ryan Bean does take stage win. And as these guys get grouped up, head down to pit road, we're going to take our first picture-in-picture commercial break. Be back with you guys shortly. And back to full screen coverage here as we have under 1 lap left before we're going back to green flag here for this race. Stage 2 is going to be restarting on lap 51, and it's going to make its way all the way to 145, so 95 laps to go in this race once we see it fly. And Ryan being the 28 is going to be restarting this race. P1 Blake Howe didn't have that much damage to fix from his wall slap. He's going to be starting in second place on the inside lane. And I do believe the 45 had some kind of penalty, drops all the way back into the field. Looks like 18th place on this restart. So if I see any updates, I'll throw it your way. But I think that was an ERL penalty of some kind. But here we go to the line. Green flag is out. The 28 of Ryan Bean gets a great start there over the 26. Clears them by 2 car lengths already by himself. Solo coming to turn number 1. Blake Howe on the 26 on the inside of the 23 of Harold Watkins here. Goes single file there. 23 maybe thinking of a crossover, just cannot get the momentum shift off corner exit. And everybody single file minus the 6 who tries to look down low, goes back in line there. Single file through 3 and 4.
Not enough for anybody with Ryan Bean. He just shot out of a cannon on that restart. Blake Howe, oh, we got a spinner in the back. The 24 machine goes around. That being Michael Carter, hits the inside retaining wall, I believe just barely. No caution off the racing surface. Keeps it straight in a sense. So that's why we will see no yellow as of now. He's able to save it, and that number 24 red, white, and black Skull Bandit machine back up at the front, or at least mid-pack. You see Michael Sheffield. He's trying to put something on Rusty Modesty. Lots of guys trying to fight for positions here late in this race.
First lap of the race, and then the first lap of stage 2, we see a car get loose and hit the wall there, or at least spin out rather. So the 24 did not get it nearly as bad as the 17 of Kevin Zabladell, but we're going to go to the near TV replay and take a look at it. Michael Carter, 24, just off turn number 4 this time. He was loose at the entrance of 4, really in the middle of 3 and 4, and does door slap it quite a bit but not nearly as bad as we've seen the other guys door slap so far when they spin down to the infield there. Um, should be okay-ish. You know you're going to have to come down pit road to get some things repaired, but look at that lead. The 28 Ryan Bean has gathered here as you see James Catrone in 38 looking to the inside here of the 23. Harold Watkins through turns 3 and 4 makes the pass real simple there. They go back single file coming to the front stretch.
As they go single file down the front straightaway, Ryan Bean just continuing to try to extend that gap over Blake Howell into turns 1 and 2. James Catrone trying to catch Blake Howell in the 26. Harold Watkins, Brock Potter, they're all nose to tail this time by down the back straightaway heading to lap 56. And if you're Nathan Campbell, man, what do you do, Jeremy? You just had a penalty. You're making up spots, but it might be too little too late. And this could be a night of what could have been here for Nathan Campbell. He gets loose out of the pack there off turn number 4. We'll have to see how this 45 does the rest of the night.
You do right behind him as soon as he passes 85 Hendry gets wicked loose there. Oh, right in front of them too, Matt Hayden and the 5 gets loose. So guys are just not feeling right now. You would think at this point the tire temps and the pressures would be up to optimization, but apparently not. They're a little bit more on the edge than we saw on first stage here. 99 Kevin Ruff also loose right there off corner exit turn number 4. But if you're the 45 Nathan Campbell, like you just asked, you do absolutely nothing different. You do the same thing you did in stage 1, which we saw him go from 25th to 3rd, other than you see the 5 get loose. Oh, this could get bad. Crosses back, comes back down right before traffic, and oh my gosh, that was an excellent save there by the 5.
I don't know how he did it, man. That was absolutely crazy. That thing was done. You know how we always give out that Martin Sports Get a Grip award, at least in my eyes? Well, there you go, right there. That Martin Sports award to me goes to that 5 machine here tonight. Watch this off turn 2. He's loose, man. He's driving a super late model at Eldora practically right now. And that was basically what that was off turn number 4, able to catch that race car. That thing could have easily snapped back right in front of the field, created a multi-car collision down the Boeing back straightaway. He was able to save it. Nice job by that number 5 of Matt Hayden. Maybe all that homework study he did with last night's broadcast is paying off with saves.
If you're the number 2, Zach Strenthal, and you see that coming from the inside of the track, like how much of a clinch do you have there in your race seat, just hoping that he does not cross in front of you, man? That was so close. But we're seeing Nathan Campbell make another pass over the 6 to Rusty Modesty this time. This is going to move him into the top 10, I do believe, here. So we're going to get that replay here from the number 2 here. Sees the car, no, and whoo, has that huge sigh of relief.
Can only imagine what was going through his mind mentally, but also physically, because we've all been there in the virtual cockpit. And man, what a job by the 5, what a job by the 2 to not really start to check up, because I'm not going to lie, man. I don't know. If that was me, I might have started checking up. But, I mean, everybody handles things differently. You know, that was a great job by Zach Strenthal and also the 5 of Matt Hayden to not have any sort of collision there when the 5 was merging back up the racetrack. But hey, what are you going to do? That's Darlington. You just get loose there off too. We've seen the drivers do it countless times over and over again here tonight. Definitely not the last of it.
No, I mean, as the tire wear, we're going to see a full field run and tire wear run on this half of the race, right? Because we have 100 laps from the drop of the green flag essentially to the checker flag. So we will see at least one green flag pit stop. And when these tires are on the edge and they're down to the wiring, it's just these cars get so loose or so tight, depending on how your setup's set up, right? So we're really going to see who's got what it takes to get on this track. I think the 45 is going to excel here in the next 30 laps or so.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and we'll just have to see as time goes on. Everybody kind of just minding their own P's and Q's, racing the track. A little bit of an issue, it looked like, right there for the 57 for the 4 machine off the corner of Brock Potter. Possibly got really loose. Don't know if he hit the wall, made any contact. Very slow off the pace into 1. Starting to get back up to it, but nice recovery there for the 4, Brock Potter.
Dumping over their TV replay, and we're going to see it as we're probably going to have to do a little bit of rewind action here. So he got wicked loose off of turn 4. Actually, no, this is it right here. Oh, mixed contact here with the 45 of Nathan Campbell. And no wall contact, locks it up just a little bit, and keeps it going, which is great. No damage, but he lost a ton of positions right there.
Definitely, no doubt about it. And those two obviously being teammates, I'm sure the four of Nolan Potter was just kind of trying, or Brock Potter, that being just trying to kind of mind his own P's and Q's, saw the 45, and then ultimately just kind of loses it right there, but was able to maintain it. No hit to the inside wall. One of the best saves we've seen pretty much all night. So good job by the four to be able to keep it going.
We had another look there for the number 4, Brock Potter, from the helmet camera. So he gets back going, back to speed. We're going to go back to live here. Shout out to Admin Box, one of the series sponsors for the RSR Next Generation Cup Series. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible for race admins, either racing or providing race control. Each admin box connects via USB and features pre-programmed commands, so no key binding is required, which is awesome for race control. And it also has the LED backlit buttons too, so not only is it functional and easy to use, it's also easy to see for those quick moments when you're looking for a button. So anything possible with admin box for race admins across the iRacing service. Please give them a check out at adminbox with 2 X's, adminbox.com. And if you do pick up one of their products, use their promo code RSR-BOXX. You're going to save you 10% off from AdminBox.
Contact right up in front of this car. You see the 6 of Rusty Modesty just gets into the 2 of Zach Schrintenthal off the second corner. It looked like Rusty was trying to go for a late pass, and now you see the 2 heavy damage riding the outside wall, extremely off the pace. You have to think to yourself, Jeremy, that 2 machine probably has more than likely a broken or at least a bent toe link on that 2 machine. Wow, that was very interesting. Off turn number 2, Rusty Modesty had the run. The 2 got loose. Ultimately, the 2 just overcorrects it. Thought there was contact between the 2, but unfortunately, just a product of the 2 getting loose.
Because he's driving a Toyota. The 26 of Blake Howe hit the wall basically identically to the number 2 and had no issues. And the 2, Zach Strengthenall, does almost the same thing. Heavy contact to the right side off corner exit. And yeah, he is definitely off pace. He has lost, I think, 7 or 8 spots at this point. Continues to hit the wall once more on corner center of turn 1, and almost again there on corner exit. So he's in a really bad shape right now.
Yeah, definitely really bad shape for that number 2 machine. Currently up on the leaderboards, dropped 13 positions from where he started now, residing in that 16th spot. You can just see how loose that 2 machine is. To guarantee you, he's probably hoping and praying for a caution pretty soon, because that number 2 machine definitely needs to come to the pits, take 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, some Sunoco racing fuel, and definitely some damage required repair time.
Oh, a little bit of checkup here. James controlling the 38, getting really slow through 3 and 4. Checks up Harold Watkins, and then the 45 of Nathan Campbell. They almost make contact anyways. They're side by side, 45-23. They go back single file through turns 1 and 2 now. But Catrone is really loose. He wiggles there in the center of 1 and 2. Just cannot maintain throttle here, as we're probably going to see Nathan look to the inside. Pokes the nose anyways. Going to take a stab at this pass here on the inside. And he's got the car to do it. Not many guys can pass on the bottom. The 45 is one of them. Gets him cleared. No wall contact. Clean pass there. And then Sue Martin over on the Facebook side saying, "Hey, Dustin, just wanted to reach out. Love y'all. Appreciate you, Sue, for jumping in and watching this race." And producer Dustin comes back and says, "Much love." And the 45 makes some contact as well off corner exit 2.
Producer Dustin's got to get some love here and there, man. Sometimes nobody gets to see and hear him behind the scenes. Sometimes, though, if you're lucky, you get to see Walter's head. Sometimes with the hat or without a hat, or with a hat or without a hat on sometimes. So absolutely love seeing some love for our producer Dustin. But this 45 machine getting a little bit loose since that wall contact, Jeremy. Noticing he's not really driving away now from the 38 machine. I just think it's incredible that this 45 machine is so hooked up tonight to the fact that he is now not driven up to the top 3 once. He has driven up to the top 3 twice from the rear of the field 2 times. Absolutely incredible. I still think this 45 can do it, man. I really do. If this plays into his hands, I think the 45 of Nathan Campbell is going to be a big threat against his teammate Ryan Bean.
I need a pay raise. Dustin can pop in with his camera whenever he wants, and I'm doing it every night, 2 night or 3 nights a week. So, there's that. But all jokes aside, though, the 11 of Alexander Hodge looking to the inside there of Harold Watkins, as our producer gets a good laugh there off that one. But yeah, I'm
I
really
think he's dying.
surprised. He could be. You never know. If you don't see the camera change in the next lap, there's something wrong. But Nathan Campbell, it really surprised me too. This track just eats up tires, and when you pass cars, you're eating up extra tire, and you just can't do it here at Darlington, I guess, unless your name is Nathan Campbell, in that 45 Stealth Motorsports machine. So, but now's the true test. He's got open air. He's got nobody in front of him minus one other car, and so once he gets cleared of him, which actually he's going to give up that spot now it's smooth sailing for the 45. Will he gain that 6-second deficit he has over the race leader?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, James Catrone's still right there on his bumper. And also, Jeremy, you mentioned something about passing and also wearing out those tires. You don't want to stay side by side with somebody for too long here. Obviously, we went to the Milwaukee Mile recently for the Martin Sports Truck Series. That was a place where you could not stay side by side for very long, or your tires would absolutely be chewed up in just a few laps. Same goes here for Darlington. No matter what series you run, and just from running side by side, look at that 45 machine now. He'll try the crossover move. Oh boy, I don't know if this is going to work. Will he lay off? 38 machine. James Catrone looks to have the position off corner exit, but yeah, smart move by the 45 to not absolutely just completely dig going into that curve. No, strategy time. The 45 is going to pit this time. 45's coming in. He's going to try. Oh, no, he spins.
No.
Oh, he locks it up. Oh, some contact. I think he still made pit road speed. Definitely a little time going to be lost, but this 45 machine is going to try the undercut. Wow, what a series of events that just unfolded in the last lap for the 45 of Nathan Campbell. He'll come to the surface this time by on the front straightaway on pit road.
Holy cow, that was a chain of events. First, I thought in my camera, I saw Alexander Hodge doing a complete dive bomb. He goes 3 wide and they're splitting the gap, and I did not see any pit call out from the 45 as the 38 strong arms Nathan Campbell there in turn 1. The only part of the track where you can run the apron is on the flat of entrance of turn 1. Makes it happen, does the crossover, makes it complete. Then watch Alexander slowing up 45, strong move by the 11, passes the 23, and has to avoid Nathan at the same exact time. That in itself could have been a huge collision, and then the 45 just gets loose, getting down to the flat there, heavy contact to the left front. And I think you're correct, he is good to go. I don't think there's going to be a penalty for the 45 as he is now exiting the track, or exiting pit road rather, but man, that could have been huge there with Alexander just making that strong move.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talk about threading the needle for sure. And I mean, that was just a big, big problem. Here's a replay with the 48 machine. Rob Fitzpatrick Sr. completely misses it right there. We've seen that, and that is not uncommon. We always, listen to me. We go and talk about pit road and how difficult it is at every track. I promise you, there is no pit road. And to this day, out of all the console NASCAR games that I've played, out of all the simulations that I've ran, out of all the races I've done at Darlington on the sim, I cannot, to save my life, figure out how to get to pit road at Darlington. It is the hardest track to get onto pit road because look at how wide. You don't even see the pit road entrance until right there, basically, on corner exit. It is all the way down there. It's so wide. The racing groove is very narrow, but then that apron is just so wide, and you have to get all the way down there. We've seen it countless times, both in simulation and real competition, where we've seen drivers try to get down there, and unfortunately, they just fall victim to either missing pit road or getting involved in something.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I would see an issue there at the number 2 of Zach Strenthal, and he gets out of the car, hits the tow button there. He was 8 laps down, so I guess we had an issue. We're going to go to the Nerd TV replay and take a look. Or no, that was the Nerd TV replay. I was a little bit delayed myself there, but going back to that pit road, it is the most trickiest thing on the service. And for most tracks in general, you are absolutely correct. It is flat. It's a long turn there. It's much slower than what it is on the top half of this track. So to have the grip to go, You can make up serious time hitting pit road here, as you see the four Brock Potter and a couple others on pit road now. So I think green flag pit stops have slowly started to trickle their way into the image here. It is a really tough pit road to get into. I do have to agree with you.
For sure, no doubt about it. Like I said, hardest pit road, in my opinion, to get onto. As you look at some more great battles all over this racetrack, there goes one of the Potters, I believe. That goes right past Michael Sheffield, trying to get a lap back. Some other guys coming to pit road this time by. Here comes Richard Gonzalez. He's heading down to pit road. So I think, Jeremy, now we're starting to see some guys coming down pit road. The window could be opening here pretty soon.
Yeah, those are 15th place cars. He crossed the line, 3, 2, 1, hits the pit box, and that updated William Byron scheme there. They're just going to wait for these other guys to maybe creep down pit road and take their stab at shortcutting this thing. Remember, we end this race at lap 145 right now, as Ryan Bean has just crossed the line. We're on lap 86, so we're at the almost halfway point between the stage and the race center, getting close to it in the next 15 laps or so. Quick shout out to one of our partners, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans, ethically produced and from different parts of the world. They're coupled with delicious blends and flavors that'll make your taste buds melt with delight. Roasted Gems Coffee is the only place to quench your caffeinated coffee desires. They value your coffee experience with each order roasted to perfection upon order and shipped straight to your door for peak flavor. So whether if you want a mellow flavor with just a hint of caffeine to get your day started, or if you want coffee so strong it'll show up on a drug test, either way, Roasted Gems Coffee has you covered. And you're going to head over to roastedgems.com, then promo code our infamous Super Nerds and that green text there above the text will save you 10% off from anything you do purchase from Roasted Gems.
All these guys, when they come down pit road, are probably going to need a cup of Roasted Gems coffee, no doubt about it, to get themselves going, because nobody has been able to touch Ryan Bean pretty much all night long. These guys are going to need that extra boost from Roasted Gems. They want to get up to the front here. Some Nerd TV replay action. Take a look at the 5 of Matt Hayden. This is coming on to pit road. And you can just see Jeremy, guys, just have so much trouble getting on there. He spins, able to save it. Barely contact made with that left front. Oh, man, if he would have just put it in reverse for 2 seconds, he could have saved himself from getting left front damage. You could see that right there. That cowl flap is kind of pushed in a little bit. There you go. Dustin knows what I want. There you go. Right on the left front there. So that's unfortunate for Matt Hayden. Not going to be race ending damage, of course, but definitely going to be some repaired time on pit road.
He tried to enter the pit road for the second time in a row and spins it once more, and this time blocking entrance. Thankfully, no one that's coming down pit road, but 2 for 2 on that, and it is just not a good session of laps to try to enter pit road for Matt Hayden. The 5 cleans out the orange cone and then noses it into the wall. Stopped hit, shouldn't cause any issues, but man, oh man, that is a lot of time wasted for the 5 car.
Bro just, I guess, has something against going on to pit road. I don't know what it is, but that's 2 times now, man. He must not like the orange cone either. He made sure of that thing to go right over it here. But all jokes aside now, I think that this pit window, Jeremy, we just talked about it. When is it going to open? I think it's starting to open up. You're seeing more and more guys outside the top 10 starting to pit. I would not be surprised if you see one of these guys inside the top 5, maybe a Harold Watkins, maybe a James Catrone, probably pit here within the next couple laps, because this window is approaching pretty soon.
Yeah, at any moment in time here, we're on lap 90, so it's got to come soon, right? We're 40 laps into this run. We got 45 laps to go in the race, 46, and so we're at that halfway point. We're going to see a lot of people here. I bet you in the next 5 laps, they're going to come down pit road and make that service happen. Then you'll have some strategy calls where people are going to stay out a little bit later and hope for a late caution on the cycle of pit stops. But either way, we got 10 cars left there in the lead lap. So those 10 guys need to come down pit road, and then that'll complete the green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. You know, Ryan Bean, he's got a 3-second lead over Blake Cowell, and it's just growing a little bit every lap, slower and slower, but at a consistent rate. I think Ryan Bean is going to have to really focus on when these guys inside the top 5 come in pit, because remember, valuable time. Yes, you're taking the undercut if you're anybody behind Ryan Bean, but with that being said, they're going to get on the track earlier than you, and they're going to be on fresh tires. They're going to be cold, but they're going to get up to optimal temp pretty quickly, considering the fact that they're not going to really be racing with anybody compared to cold tires on a restart like what we've seen with everybody getting loose, wrecking off turn number 2 and off turn 4. So Ryan Bean really needs to pay attention to when these guys do, in fact, pit inside this top 5 to even the top 10, because somebody could leapfrog them here once this window does completely open.
Yeah, I'm just cycling through, watching the entrance at turn 3. At any point in time, we're going to start to see these top 10 creep down pit road. We're seeing a little side-by-side here. James Catrone in the 38. To the inside is the number 8 of Tony Ludi. He makes that pass complete over James here. At the same token, we see the 4 of Brock Potter and the number 5 Matt Hayden. He's going to go around the 68 of Andrew Little. And I think the 7 there right behind him, Harold Rothery, slaps the corner exit here of turn 4. And here we go. We're starting to see the pit stops. This is your race leader and second place making their way down.
Yeah, interesting that Blake Howell decided to come in right with Ryan Bean. I think he thought that this was the best move since he saw Ryan Bean come into the pit road. Probably wasn't going to be the strategy for him. I think Blake Howell wanted to wait another lap, but once he saw Ryan Bean, he said, hey, man, I got to pit this time. You see other drivers coming to the pits this time by. James Catrone's going to stay out another lap, going to see what he can do. Maybe, I think, depending on what he does. Here comes Harold Watkins, Brian Fines into the pits. I think James Catrone's going to just try to get a way better pit entry and pit exit probably than your former race leader, Ryan Bean. That's the goal for him.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the lap times, right now, James Catrone's last time around was a 30.6, and then he had a 31.0, 30.6, 30.5. And you start this run in the low to mid 29s. So it's a whole second difference. He's going to lose that second every single lap around this track until he comes down pit road. But on the flip of the coin, let's say if he comes down in 5 laps, right? He's going to have 45 laps of a 10th faster here, a 10th faster there. And that will equal itself out as long as he can do some good tire management. So I've seen this strategy work out to where you pit just a little bit later, but then you're just a little bit faster than everybody else as this race comes to a close.
Yeah, probably more than likely. And we'll have to see what happens here. James Catrone also could be banking on a caution probably. You know, the race leader is 1 lap down right now. I think that 38 could be making either one of 2 strategies. Either he's going to wait, lose some track position, but have the fresher tires and try to see what he can do, or he's going to bank on a caution. But I think he's probably leaning more towards the bank on a caution probably, just because he's staying out a little longer than probably what we thought he was going to do compared to Ryan Bean. So we'll have to see how he does. You also have Rob Fitzpatrick Jr., Kevin Ruff, Rusty Modesty, Adam Boughton, who's made himself into the top 5. Haven't really talked about that number 10 machine all night long. Was pretty strong at Daytona. Didn't really go the way he wanted to, so it's nice to see him in the top 5. Here comes Kevin Ruff. He'll sacrifice the 3rd place spot. Same with Rusty Modesty. They'll come down pit road this time.
Yep, 2 more cars, and this is going to be, I think, the top 3 or 2. I think it's the 38 of James Catrone and the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. The only 2 cars at this point to not come down pit road, and actually the number 10 of Adam Boughton. So 3 cars left after those 2 have come down pit road. And we're going to keep our eyes on that, but we're also going to go to picture-in-picture mode, go to our final in-race commercial break. Be back with you guys here shortly. And back to full screen here as two guys left. I need to come down pit road. That is number 38, James Catrone, continuing to lead this Whitewater Express 200. Adam Boughton in the 10 car is second place. Only 4 cars resume right now on the lead lap. Of course, the 38 and the 10R, and then the 28, Ryan Bean, and the 45, Nathan Campbell, have got their laps back the hard way. Of course, utilizing the fresh set of tires. And this is the bold part of the strategy here for the 38 and 10. They have to be praying for that caution, right? They've lost so much track time, and if they come down pit road now, they're going to be probably a lap down or close to it, as we have under 40 laps to go in this race. So they have to be on that strategy, just waiting for the fuel tank to go dry before coming down pit road, and just hoping that they see a yellow flag.
Yeah, and it's not like James Catrone can, just really, in all honesty, like, this is not really a huge risk for him. This is just, he wants to try to get a win. Obviously, no wins so far this season, but he does have 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s here. So I think that this 38 machine is just trying to go for a race winning strategy possibly. You see so many guys getting loose there off turn number 4, turn number 2. I want to just think to ourselves too, maybe the possibility of a yellow coming out for this 38 and the 10 could play into their favor here if they just hold out just a little bit longer to see if it does in fact come out.
See the 26 of Blake Howe, he gets it back the hard way there. So 5 cars now are on the lead lap, and time's a ticking here. It looks like the number 10 of Adam Boughton, he is calling for pit road, so he's going to give this up here as he's on the back stretch right now. Looks slow, is going to let the 3 go by of Bob Fitzpatrick. And no mistakes. We've seen plenty enough already coming to this pit road. Looks like he's going to have ample amount of time to get down. A little conservative approach, but in your position, you kind of have to do that. Nice entry there from Adam Boughton.
Yeah, nice entry right there. I don't know if he was actually speeding coming on. It looked like he was a few mile an hour over, but obviously that's just our data and telemetry. So probably a clean stop more than likely for the number 10 machine. But this 38, man, I can't believe he has stayed out this long. It's just you're really hurting yourself now. But like I had just said, this 38 is going for a race winning strategy. He's got nothing really to go. He's gone 64 laps. Well, just forget everything I say, because somehow, some way, every time I talk about some guy pulling a strategy like this, they come into the pit. So forget everything I was gonna say.
You don't have to tell me to forget, because I already do a really good job of forgetting everything that's told to me, period. You can ask Dustin for facts. But yeah, 38, the last car to come down pit road here, down to speed. A little better entrance than the number 10 a lap ago. And now we're going to see exactly what the damage looks like, right? He was a top 5, top 10 running car before everybody pitted. And we're going to see exactly where he's put back on the track after he gets serviced by his virtual crew members. And this is, of course, going to bring Ryan Bean, the 28, back to the race lead with an outstanding 6-second advantage over, well, second place, that 45, Nathan Campbell.
Yeah, and Nathan Campbell, obviously, the reason why he's dropping back, he was able to make all that ground up from the mid-pack, but he's now falling back a little bit, falling off the timesheets, and also falling in positions-wise. You see Blake Howell working to the inside of the 45 machine down the front straightaway, and that's really just all because the 45 machine decided to take that undercut. And who knows, maybe he would have had the lead had he not have really gotten sideways coming to pit road and just barely kissing that left front. You can see it's got a little bit of damage there on the splitter, a little bit of hindrance, not that bad, but definitely something to look for here with that 45 machine. But hey, I mean, what's he going to do? All he can hope for now is that the caution comes out and he can just hold that third place spot.
And cycling back here, James Catrone, 12th place, second car, 1 lap down. The car right in front of him, that's 6. That's the car, the first one in 1 lap down. And as he passed him there, lucky dog spot now belongs to James Catrone if there were to be a yellow at this moment in time. And the very next car in front of the 38 is actually the 28 of Ryan Bean. So here in just a couple laps, he'll get his lap back. So there's the damage, just over 1 lap of separation. And once he gets it back, he's going to have 30 laps to go to cycle all the way back around the track and get back to where he was.
He's going to To make a lot of time up here, Jeremy. I just don't know if it's going to happen. That 38, you got to think to yourself, too, he can't run 100% like he wants to. He's still going to have to save some tire just a tiny, tiny bit, because if he runs 100 to 101%, like you see him trying to go to the outside of the race leader, also some lap traffic playing a factor, that being Bob Fitzpatrick off turn number 2, near contact down the back straightaway. This 38 machine going to have to save a little bit of tire, like I said, though, because these tires are eventually going to equalize, and you could just think to yourself, right, or at least imagine to yourself, if you're him, man, it's got to be frustrating not being able to get that around that 25 yet. But here he goes to the inside, going to get that lap back now, lap 118 out of 145.
Yep, gets it done. It's going to put us 10 cars on the lead lap, and then 6 of Rusty Modesty is probably going to be shortly behind that. He is trying to get around that number 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick. And yeah, these tires will equalize. That's a great point. You can run faster, probably 15, 20 laps, but after you're about 25, 30 laps into a run, that's it. You're at your baseline speed of how slow your car can go. So you're going to have to run almost a second a lap advantage over the race leader if you're going to get the job done at this point. It's just way too tall of a task. Though at the same token, before Ryan Bean came down pit road, I think James was somewhere between 7 and 10 seconds back. So really, if he gains 15 to 20 seconds at this point over the 28, he'll be back to where he was before pit stops came through. So I'm not in a terrible position for this 38.
No, definitely not at all. And I mean, when you look at it too, he just ran the fastest lap of the race for himself, that being a 29.310. So he's still very, very fast. 28 and a half seconds back. It's going to be close this time by. They're going to hit 25 laps to go. I just don't think it's going to work out for that number 38 machine, but who knows? We'll have to see here as these laps continue to wind down. Very surprised, too, knock on wood, that we haven't had a lot of those dreaded yellow flags. We thought here, Jeremy, coming into tonight due to the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series race just yesterday evening, that the race was going to be very green, very strung out originally. But then once we got into the second half, we were going to start having those cautions after cautions after cautions, kind of like what we saw on Sunday, per se, or even Saturday. So interesting. We haven't seen it yet. Obviously, the possibility still open currently with 25 laps to go. We'll just have to play this race by lap here as the laps tick down.
James Catrona's out here running qualifying times over 2/10 faster than his previous lap time. But then he backs up. There's a 29.3 to a 29.4. And I think the fastest time prior to that was a 29.5. So running some of the strongest laps out of the entire field for that matter. Has himself a good probably 3 seconds of separation at this moment over the 28 Ryan Beam, who Ryan has now a 7.5 second advantage over the second place car, the 26 of Blake Howell. And then Nathan Campbell with that shortcut pit is now 11 seconds back. So this top 5 has just really gapped themselves from one another.
For sure, no doubt about it. I mean, this has just been such an impressive run for Ryan Bean. And really, think about it. I mean, if this 45 machine didn't have to come up through the field not once, but twice, what could have happened for Nathan Campbell? Would we be talking about him and Ryan Bean being the 2 race leaders? Would we be talking about maybe Campbell having the lead over his teammate? Maybe they would be battling. Maybe the 45 would just be running 7 seconds back like Blake Howell is. It's obviously just a what could have been possibly tonight for Nathan Campbell. But again, 22 laps to go. Anything is still possible. But Ryan Bean has put on a performance tonight like he's done all season long.
Yeah, if you're the 45, the only thing other than having a lot of fun passing a lot of cars is I should have qualified. If you're looking to get himself into a good chance at winning this race, you should have just qualified. But I think he just want to have a little bit of fun tonight. He knows he's locked into the playoffs, right? So, but he's going to give up some points, right? He could have finished second or first in the stage, and at this point, he could have finished second or third, or even won this thing with the lap times that he's been running in this race, which that's playoff points, but elects to not qualify for whatever reason. And still a strong run regardless, as the 57 Brian Fine riding on board his roof camera now through turns 3 and 4. Probably going to pass Nathan on the front stretch or back stretch here coming up real shortly, but still overall just a dominant performance by the 45 in what situation that he presented himself with.
Yeah, for sure. Again, just a night of what could have been for the 45 machine. As you see, Brian Fine, somebody we haven't really talked about all night long. Quiet night for that number 57 to Fine. Just riding right behind Nathan Campbell. Could possibly pick up the fourth spot here in just a lap or two, possibly. He'll head up to the outside, retaining wall. Going to try a little bit of a crossover off four. Not enough, but he'll be right on the bumper. Opportunity being presented to him with the inside lane, but obviously heading down to turn one, Jeremy, very hard to get down there and try to get side by side with somebody.
Yeah, one of the most difficult tracks to pass here in the entire service when it comes to ovals, and even if you have a much faster car, it's difficult, right? So the 57 obviously wants to get around and can do it. He just needs the line to do it, and he sees the gap on the top. He's going to take it. The 45 checks. Actually, nope. He's going to cut him off there on corner X. It's going to allow make the 57 to do a quick cut to the bottom underneath Nathan and makes the pass happen finally, but man, that was sketchy through four.
Yeah, nice crossover move though by the 57 to Fine off four. You saw the 45 slide right up in front of him, and unfortunately, that just made Nathan Campbell drop one spot. Brian Fine did one heck of a job getting by him. You're looking at that 38 of James Catrone now. Tires are starting to equalize, man. Just a few laps. Guess what? Every single lap, that lap time ticker keeps going up by about a tenth and a half, 2/10 every lap because he's just burning them things up. This time by at the line, he's going to run a 29.7, so a couple tenths faster than last time around. But Ryan Bean's last time around, 30.180. So James Catrone's tires definitely starting to kind of settle in here.
As we got almost 15 laps to go in this event, we're gonna do a shout out to our weekly schedule here for Nerd TV. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You're going to find the Mach 1 FTSR Cup Series on Mondays right here. Every single Tuesday is the guys you're watching now for the RSR Next Generation Cup Series presented by Best One Tire. And then Wednesday, you're going to find the Martin Sports Truck Series back at FTSR on Wednesdays. That'll be at Kansas tomorrow night. So if you want to tune in, that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time once again. And that is our 3-race weekly schedule here at the moment for Nerd TV. And then if you want to support us, of course, you can follow and like those pages on YouTube, Facebook, and then also check out our website at nerditudes.gg, specifically swag.nerditudes.gg, or if you want to pick up some of our merchandise and show us a little more support. We have Martin Sports official gloves and jerseys there. And then we also have cups. We have mouse pads, and we have the new Shirtitudes lineup, which has 3 current designs. So if you want to be a little bit nerdy with your apparel, head over to swag.nerditudes.gg. And the gloves and jerseys, by the way, 25% off when you use that Super Nerd promo code.
Yeah, great products over there, obviously. For our nerds, swag, absolutely love the designs on our shirtitudes that we do have. Some of them are pretty damn funny if you ask me to, and I've had this conversation with Dustin before. Obviously, probably more ideas in the works. Oh, Matt Hayden back straightaway off turn number 2. He got really loose, plowed the outside wall. Looks like that right front toe link definitely damaged, and he's going to be coming into the pit road this time by. Man, what a night for Matt Hayden. It is just not going his way at all.
And this started actually on the front straightaway 1 lap ago. He got loose. I think he hit the inside wall on the front straightaway. Gets going, gets through 1 and 2, and then gets loose again, has more issues on the back straightaway. So a little double whammy there. You see the front straightaway contact, and just not the night from the number 5 Matt Hayden, as he is now 2 laps down here. Trying to take another look at exactly what happened to him. It comes to 1 and 2 here, and I think through 3 and 4 the next time is we're going to see that incident happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Here he goes, heading into 3 and 4. Kind of has an all right line. He starts drifting up, and then ultimately when he starts kind of doing that transition down to the inside, he just gets loose, unfortunately. We've seen all night. Pounds the inside, retaining wall, comes back up, and then you'll see him here coming off turn number 2. He'll work around 1 and 2. Here comes other drivers passing him up on the outside. And then you'll see this number 5 machine. I want to know if something was already broke possibly in that left side. And then ultimately when he just came back on the track right here, wow, that thing just kind of jolted up to the top side right there. Very odd for that number 5 machine.
something in the steering had to have been broken for him to make that kind of abrupt move back in front of traffic too. You don't just do that. So something broke, most likely in the steering, but he is on pit road getting serviced, and as the 28 crossed the line here, we're going to be under 10 laps to go, 9 to go this time around. And our final shout out of the evening is going to go to Dusty Pete's, the official hobby shop for the Nerditudes. It's a hobby store with a whole lot more. The store is based out of New York. And so if you want to, you know, add to your collection of anything nerdy, like whether if it's trading cards, such as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, any type of sports cards, or if you want to do collectible action figurines, or a bunch of comics they have, anything that's basically nerdy that's going to fit your collection, I would first go to Dusty Pete's at dustypete's.com. If you use that Super Nerd promo code once more, it's going to save you 10% off anything you do purchase from Dusty Pete's. But great stuff, and actually the diecast too, the NASCAR diecast. I didn't mention that in the beginning part of that, but they got some really solid prices on 124 scale diecasts.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. I mean, seriously, looking at some of those 2008 Greg Biffle car, I mentioned it weeks ago, still haven't pulled a trigger on that thing yet. I believe it was, but I need to get a custom made for that Dover win. That was my first race back in 2008. Great prices. Definitely check them out. Here you go. Here's a replay of one of the Chevy Camaros there off turn number 2. That was Anthony Ludi. Slaps the wall. And that's a product, Jeremy. Just everybody starting to get really tight, really loose. All these old tires. 6 laps to go. Maybe we're going to see a different color show up on the leaderboard here pretty soon. We'll have to see here. 5.5 laps to go for Ryan Bean.
Yeah, he kind of showcased what it looks like if you hold wide there on corner exit. You get into that mulch that you describe it as, and you just can't turn, and you hit the wall accordingly because so. So, thankfully, we have not seen too much of that tonight, but definitely showcased what that entails when you do run up there into the marbles. Yeah, but we got coming up to 5 laps to go this time. Ryan Bean holds almost a 10-second advantage over the 26 Blake Howell, and 11 seconds back for Harold Watkins, 15 seconds back for Brian Fine, who's in 4th. Nathan Campbell, 20 seconds back. So there's literally a 5-second gap between 2nd to 3rd, 3rd to 4th, and 4th to 5th.
Yeah, just huge gaps all around this racetrack right now. The closest battle looks to be between this 6th place car of Nathan Campbell continuing to drift back. Last week's runner-up, Alexander Hodge, he got by him. Here comes James Catrone trying his damnedest to get back up to the front here, trying to get that top 5. Then you also have Kevin Ruff waiting in the wings. He's a 2nd and 3/10 back. But with 4 laps to go, man, it looks like I don't believe that James Catrone is going to get there. 20 seconds back from your race leader, Ryan Bean. He's going to need a caution for some sorts if he wants to try to have any chance remotely being able to come down, take tires with the rest of the field, and have a chance at Ryan Bean.
This has really kind of worked out for the 38. Oh, no, well, he hit the wall there pretty hard there. Undercut the entrance there at 3, and then came up too wide on corner exit, or in the center rather. But yeah, he's almost a half a lap behind now of Ryan Bean. And I think when pit stop cycled through, he was in 5th, 6th, 7th place, somewhere of that nature. And now he just passing the 11 puts himself back into the top 5. Ooh, as him and Jerry Culver both go to the bottom, Jerry Culver goes a little bit lower. 38 has to cut back up. But yeah, James Catrone back in the top 5. So in all, better tires than everybody else, and in the position that you were at the high point of this race in. I say this is a win for the 38.
Absolutely. I mean, he's driven up through the field, obviously being a lap down and whatnot at one point to get that lap back. Great time for him. But what an even better time for Ryan Bean, pretty much already flag to flag for that 28 machine. He just barely brushed the wall. That's the first time I've seen him touch it all night, man. What a statement. Looking to come down this time for the final time here, heading into turns 3 and 4 to pick up his 5th win of the season. That's Ryan Bean.
3 and 4 once more here for the 5th checkered flag of the 2023 B season. Ryan Bean crosses the line as tonight's winner for the Whitewater Express 200. Congratulations there, Ryan Bean.
Great run for that 28 machine, just like he's done all season long. Obviously, factors happen to this race to prevent probably some guys from battling him, but man, that 28 machine was hooked up. Can't wait to see what his thoughts were here when we do head to post race interviews.
Yeah, to get some a little congratulations by his teammates driving by there, and I'm gonna be on the lookout. Does he hit the wall on purpose this time? Unless he's gonna do a nose burnout up against the wall. That's the only time that's really allowed in my book. But we'll see what he can do here to make it nice and clean this time as everyone comes around. Do a little wave action there from Brian Fine in the 57. And oh, Brock was trying to get to him but cannot do it. Come down pit road, and here we go. Coming down the front straightaway. We will get to the unofficial results here, but I want to see, does he hit the wall on this really wide front straightaway here? No grass, it's all asphalt. I know he can do it. He's going to whip it hard into the infield here and does not hit the wall. So good job there by Ryan Bean. But here we are, unofficial results here. Ryan B in the 28 is going to win this thing. Blake Cowell in the 26 finishes second. Harold Watkins third. Brian Fine in fourth. James Catrone fifth. Alexander Hodge in sixth. Nathan Campbell finishes in seventh. Kevin Ruff in eighth. And everybody else on back, one lap down or more. Ninth place belongs to Rusty Modesty. And Brock Potter in the 4 finishes in 10th.
Top 20 tonight, you got Fitzpatrick Jr. 11th, Anthony Ludy 12th, Adam Boughton 13th, Michael Sheffield comes home 14th, Andrew Little 15th, Nolan Potter 16th, Richard Gonzalez, Matt Hayden round out 17th and 18th. Then you head back towards the last two cars. You have Jimmy Fitzmaurice coming in 19th, and Fitzpatrick Sr. rounds out your top 20.
21st is Justin Hendry. 22nd, Anthony Younes. 23rd place, 13 of Jerry Culver. 24th, Harold Rothery. 25th, Stan Carnathan. 26th place, Zach Strenthal. 27th, Kevin Zabladil. 28th place belongs to Matt Upbrook. 29th, Michael Carter. And the 30th place car, who started 30th as well, that's going to be the number 92 of Clint Moda with issues early on in this event. As they're going to bring us to our full screen commercial break, gather up our top 3 and talk to them about this race. We'll be right back. And welcome back here for the Martin Sports Post Race Shows. We're going to talk to tonight's top 3 guys here. First and foremost, the number 23 of Harold Watkins. Harold, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, gotcha.
Hey, man, congratulations on your top 3 finish there. Started 12th, finished 3rd, up 9 spots. So overall, pretty strong performance there from that 23 car. Just walk us through your night overall and how was the car feeling? Because a lot of guys out there seem to be either really loose or really tight.
I mean, I felt honestly pretty good. I wasn't pushing it very hard, so I just kind of was patient. And I didn't have the fastest car like that first after the stage break. I mean, I got fast, and I could not keep up no matter how hard I tried. So I just backed it up and really just took it easy. And I felt really great at the end of the runs. I felt like I was making up a ton of time there at the end in both the stage and the race. One more lap, I think I had second there.
Oh, congratulations on running third tonight, man. This being, from what I'm seeing on the stat boards, this is your first top five of the 2023 Part 2 season, man. And you were really fast. A lot of your Stealth Motorsport guys had issues. Also, a couple of your Stealth Motorsports guys were very, very fast tonight, man. You came in fourth in the standings with only a few races to go before the playoffs do, in fact, start, man. Getting that first top five's got to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very frustrating part two, to say the least. I've had a couple bad incidents just not go my way, and I mean I've battled because I've stayed pretty high up in the points, but it felt good to kind of get the monkey off the back and finally get into the top five there.
I'm sure it did, man, and this will carry your momentum hopefully into the playoffs here as that's approaching in 3 week or 4 weeks from this Tuesday. But we're gonna close this thing out with you. Final thoughts before we send you home tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates for staying patient with me. I was pretty frustrated practicing this week, so they kind of pulled me through it and helped me get up here. And thanks to you guys in the booth. Thank you to Sheffield and Ludi for putting the league on. It's a blast every Tuesday night.
Heck yeah, man. We'll celebrate with that strong finish there tonight, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
You too. That was driver Harold Watkins in that number 23 Troy Lee Designs Toyota Camry. Now it's time to shift gears to number 26 Blake Howell for the Blake H Designs Chevrolet Camaro. Blake, you got a copy? Blake, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You have a copy?
I do.
Hey, man. Congratulations there on P2 there. Strong run overall. About a third of the way through the race, you actually hit the wall kind of hard there off corner exit turn 2. And I thought the car would have been damaged enough, but you kept it going. You kept the speed. How was it after that contact with the wall early on in the race?
Well, the car didn't really feel different. The steering, well, I could tell I knocked some of the toe out of it. Um, but it was just generally slower. I don't think I would have had anything for Ryan anyway, but I feel like I could have been a lot closer than 8 seconds.
And congratulations, Blake, obviously on finishing P2. I know you want to finish P1, man. You still got to win here this season so far in the Part 2 of 2023. And you were really fast for SJR Racing, you know, with obviously competing against those Stealth Motorsport guys. Now you have 2 races before the playoffs, knowing that you're going to be locked in. What is it going to take to try to go after those 2 Stealth Motorsport drivers of Nathan Campbell and Ryan Bean here in these next couple weeks to set yourself up going forward into the playoffs?
Man, I don't know. That's something for me to figure out. Uh, all I really got is just go a little quicker, save a little bit more tire. That's been my main issue. Is I'm a little bit slower, and I still managed to burn a little bit more tire. So get that figured out.
You know, that's always my problem here is I go super slow in the corners and I still slower on the long run and I scratch my head every single time. So me and you both know what that feels like. But you know, congratulations to P2 tonight. Darlington, one of the toughest tracks on the simulation. So congrats to that alone. But the floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna thank Red Duck Comics, 213 Simware, of course, guys at SJR, and yeah, that's about all I got.
All right, man. Well, congrats once more, and we'll catch you next Tuesday at Kansas.
Yep.
And that was the number 26 there, Blake Howell. Now it's time to load up the Victory Lane scene once more for the 5th time in 2023B. Ryan Bean, welcome back to Victory Lane, guy.
Oh, thank you. Finally, we're back.
You're the only guy with multiple wins, and you have 5 checker flags. I know you had 10 last part of the season. So I guess my question to you is, there's no worry about the playoff situation for you. So are you just trying to get more wins than you did the first part of the season?
I mean, that's the objective of every race is to win, and
It's true.
this track in the beginning of the year was actually one that got away from me. I don't know if you guys caught it, but and it needs a shout out. Nate, he went to the back like twice today, and raced his way back up to the front. And he's the last 3 times we've been here, he's been the guy to beat. So I got a little lucky with him having some misfortunes on pit road and qualifying and stuff. But I've been wanting this one for a while, and I just want to keep winning. Winning's fun for me. I'm sure it's fun for a lot of other people, but I think I want it more.
Well, bro really said, I'm going to take a week off from Daytona in a sense, getting wins, and I'm going to come back and win this week, man.
Absolutely.
And hey, that's good for you, though. 5 wins now racked up on part 2 of 2023 season part 2. And obviously tonight, me and Jeremy both thought coming into the booth, yesterday's race for us with the Mach 1 Performance Cup Series, it kind of played out the same exact way it did in the very first stage for you guys here tonight as well. It was very strung out. Saw our guys who were like, all right, this is going to be who we're looking to see, like we saw with you, we saw with Nate, despite him starting at the back. But then in the second part of the race, you guys were pretty clean, man. Were you kind of surprised by that way, especially with all the guys that had problems heading off 2 and off 4?
Yeah, that was the first thing I told Blake and Harold when we were in the waiting room there. Is I cannot believe that went green other than the stage yellow. I'm pretty sure every league race I've done here, we've had at least 6 or 7 yellows, and I didn't plan to have a long green flag run like we did today, and I don't think anybody else did, but we had to have long run speed today, and luckily we had it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of single car incidences that happened, but they happened on the bottom half of the track, and so it did not trigger any iRacing official cautions to come out. But all single car incidences there. And yeah, we did catch Nathan Campbell. Started 25th, made his way up, I think, in the top 5 after lap 30, which I was mind blown. And then he did it again after I think a penalty got set back. What,
Wheelman
18th, and it was impressive stuff there. But
He likes to make it difficult on himself. We joke about it all the time. So,
is that what's going on? Is that why he did not qualify?
I mean, I think he hit the wall on both his laps. He's pushing really hard. Yeah, he likes this track a lot. We all do as a team, and yeah, he just he had that misfortune on pit road. Other than that, I think you would have saw a bit of a closer race between the top. But like I said, it's strung out with that green flag run, and I don't think anybody was prepared to do 100 laps straight like that.
Yeah, I don't believe so at all. But Max Verstappen, the floor is yours. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Oh, it's funny because that's my favorite driver.
Of course it is.
But yeah, shout out to the boys at Stealth, man. We put in a lot of laps. Zach is unfortunate for his race, but he showed speed. That's all we can hope for when you have a bad race. Harold finally getting top 3, and yeah, shout out to you guys up in the booth. Can't wait to watch this one back. I'm interested to see how it strung out the way it did. I thought Blake was gonna be a little closer after pit stops, but yeah, I think Kansas is next week, so I think that's a good track for us. It is for the Toyotas in real life, so hopefully it works over to us.
Yeah, man. Well, good luck next week for sure, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was number 28, Ryan, being there with his 5th checker flag of the year. The only driver to have more than 1 win on the win column, and to have 5 here in the first 9 races. Pretty impressive stuff there, Jason.
And Max Verstappen, I mean, Ryan Bean, I mean, what a drive by him tonight. Always, every single week, this guy somehow, some way, I think I already said this once, and I really want to see, because we only got to see it briefly, but I don't really think we've had that opportunity to see those two really battle. But I really want to see Richie Coy really battle Ryan Bean for a win. I want to see who comes out on top there. Put them on equal sets of tires, give them a restart, front row, give them 5 laps to go. I want to see who does it, man. I just think it would be so fun. But Ryan Bean just continuing to make a statement here in the 2023 Part 2 season. I really think he's obviously going to be the favorite heading into the playoffs. I honestly, he's already my championship pick for this RSR Next Generation Cup Series. Just the question is going to be is, can anybody outdo Stealth Motorsports? It's Fury over in the FTSR side. It's Stealth here for the ERL guys. We'll have to see if anybody does, in fact, show Ryan Bean and Nathan Campbell what they're made of.
My response to that question is, great question, next question. I don't have an answer. But man, maybe we'll find out here. Maybe there'll be a little surprise, like a Tony Stewart action there, and sneak his way, or their way, whoever that might be, into the playoffs to pick up some wins and shut out Stealth Motorsports. But who knows? We'll find out. But we're going to bring this thing to a close here. First and foremost, I'd like to shout out the league and the series for the RSR Next Generation Cup Series presented by Best One Tire. This league has been doing so well and has some of the best drivers on the sim. So if you want to follow anything RSR related, head over to facebook.com/RSR League. The series sponsor, Best One Tire. If you're looking for a one-stop automotive repair and tire shop, bestoneTire.com. Head over there to find a location nearest you. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers to be utilized in league and hosted races by admins and race control. Find them at adminbox.com. And you can also find Blake Howell Designs. You saw it on the hood there from Blake Howell's car, finished second tonight. He has an Instagram page at Blake H Designs. So head over there if you're looking for a one-of-a-kind way to showcase your sponsors and paint schemes on the simulation platform. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See their whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving your focus from the racing action. And find them at iracingiflag.com. Butt Kicker, get the ultimate feel from the race car with the haptic response system from their stuff at thebuttkicker.com. Check out all their products. They have a great lineup there to help your sim rig be more complete and realistic. Team Watson Racing setups, quality professionally built setups for your asphalt oval needs. Find them at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. And you can find them at roastedgems.com. And this will bring our broadcast to a close. We're going to catch you guys tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, for the Martin Sports Truck Series over at the FTSR Racing League. So, guys, until then, make sure to, as always, get your nerd on.